Are you struggling with what to say to someone who's lost a child? Don't worry, you are not alone. Let's face it, it's awkward trying to figure out what to say to someone whose child has died. Most parents, like myself, we understand that you're doing your best and that there are no words to really comfort us at this time, and we're just grateful that you try. However, in my experience, there are some things that you should absolutely never say to a grieving parent. These are things that send that twinge of annoyance or, maybe even a little bit of anger down our spines. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 things never to say to a grieving parent. Here we go. Losing my 10-year-old daughter completely changed me, permanently. It's not something that I can positive vibe my way out of. It just is. So a lot of people know this and they struggle coming up with the right words to try to comfort me. But from my work with grieving parents, I can tell you that it's pretty universal that there's really nothing that you can say to give us any comfort when we've lost a child. We just appreciate the effort that you are taking to think about us and try to say anything at all, honestly. But there are definitely some things that tend to get on people's nerves or rub them the wrong way, and that is where we get our list of the 5 things that you should not say to a grieving parent. Without further ado, here we go. The first thing to never say to a grieving parent is, God needed another angel in heaven, or God called her home, or God had a plan, or God only takes the best. My first word of caution here is know your audience. If your audience is religious and will not be bothered by that aspect, then that's great. For myself, I'm not religious, so anytime I hear anything like this, it just sort of it kind of rubs me the wrong way. I understand that I'm kind of in the minority there and that religion comforts a lot of people. However, for me, those things don't work. So again, kind of know your audience. The real thing that irks me about those statements, though, and even bothers a lot of religious people, is the idea that there was some sort of plan behind the whole thing, or some kind of justification for why our loved ones were taken away from us. And that's a pretty horrible thing to think, and it makes a lot of people angry. So when people say that she's better off with God, or that she's an angel and she'd rather be there than with her mama, I don't buy it for a second. There is no good reason for a beautiful, kind, and loving 10-year-old little girl to die in a car accident, period. And most grieving parents that have things happen to their children really struggle when people tell us that there was some sort of reason for it. Losing a child just sucks, and there is no reason. Moving on to the next phrase. At least she went quickly. Okay, so here's the problem. You don't know if they went quickly. I don't know if my daughter went quickly. I know that she was dead by the time anyone arrived at the scene, but I also know that she saw the truck coming and was probably scared as hell. I don't know from the time that the truck hit her what she experienced in that time period. So when someone says to me, at least she died quickly, that is a huge trigger for me, and I know that it is for a lot of other grieving parents whose children have died in accidents, that is a big trigger for all of us because we weren't there and we don't know. And for me, I can say that my brain does its darndest to fill in the gaps of that time period that I don't know with the most awful scenarios that you really don't want to trigger that in someone by saying something like that. But most of all, I really don't like this statement because It's not thinking about the fact that I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. With a child who dies unexpectedly or quickly, rather than a long illness, we don't get that anticipation of it happening. It's like 1 second they're there, the next second they're not. The last thing I remember about Libby, the last moment I had with her, she was walking into her dance studio with a huge smile on her face and turned around and she blew me a kiss and I blew her a kiss back. That was a normal everyday occurrence. I was supposed to see her later that night and then I get the worst call possible and I never get to see her again, not even her body. It was like she just disappeared. And I can tell you that living as a grieving parent without that closure, it is not a blessing. I'm not saying that losing a child from a long illness is better or worse. They are both terrible. So telling someone that it's better that their child died quickly is not always true, and it can trigger those nasty thoughts for a lot of parents. The next is one that I hear all the time. I don't know how you're doing it. I could never be that strong. Or, I wouldn't be able to survive if that happened to me. Okay. The easiest way to explain this one is to say, with complete confidence, that until it happens to you, you have absolutely no idea what you can deal with. You don't. Before this happened to me, I would have said to anyone, there's no way I could survive. Libby and I actually had conversations where I would say to her, I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. And then the worst happened. And am I doing okay? Am I doing things? Am I doing life? Am I surviving? I suppose so. I get up in the morning, I take a shower, I go to my job, I work, I come home and I make meals and clean and still do all of that life stuff. But every second something is missing. So yes, I'm surviving, but it's definitely not fun. The other thing is, people who are getting through it don't have a choice. I didn't have a choice. I had 2 boys that I still had to take care of, and I have a lot of people that care about me and love me, and that is what kept me going when I felt like I didn't want to keep going, which I did many, many times. So did I have a choice? Not really. Am I surviving? I suppose. Do I more often than not put on a fake face all day long and then come home and lay on my couch and cry and eat a pint of ice cream? Abso-freaking-lutely. Now, before I move on to the next tip, I'd like just to take a second to talk to any grieving parents out there. If you are watching this and you are a grieving parent, you've probably heard some of the things yourself that I've been saying, and you probably understand. But what I found is that unless you have gone through it, it is really difficult, no matter how hard they try, to find people that understand. Unless you've lost a child, you just don't understand, unfortunately. So I have created a private virtual online child loss support group, and I would absolutely love to have you join us. We have a great group of moms and dads. All of us have lost children of varying ages. We all know what the other people are going through, and we have some great discussions in that group. We would absolutely love for you to join us. So if that sounds like something that you would be interested in, you can go ahead and click the link below. I will put information there where you can just learn more about the group and join if you would like to. Okay, back to the list of things that you should not say to a grieving parent. The next one is life or God or whoever only gives you as much as you can handle. Really? Then life and or God or whoever really suck, because no one should have to handle losing their child. No one. Or for that matter, in my case, Apparently life thought that I could handle losing my sister, sister-in-law, cousin, dad, stepmom, and daughter. Thanks, life. I really appreciate that. Saying this to a grieving parent makes us feel like we're being punished for being strong, capable people. And that just makes us feel like crap. So please don't say that to a grieving parent. All right, and the next tip is one that unfortunately I have heard myself, and I cannot believe that people actually say this to grieving parents, but they do. When are you gonna get back to normal? What? Please don't ever say this to someone. Okay, I can actually give you an answer to that ridiculous question. The answer is never. Losing a child is something that you never get back to normal again, ever. I have no normal at this point. I will always be the mom who lost her 10-year-old daughter. That is going to stick with me for the rest of my life. When I see little girls that are her age, I am always going to be sad. When I see her friends growing up and going to dances and getting married and having babies, I am always going to be sad and honestly a little jealous that she never got to experience those things and that I never get to experience them with her. Anytime I hear a song that she loved, I'm always going to feel little stabby pains in my heart. Anytime I hear anything about dancing, I am always going to think about what she would have looked like on the stage at her senior dance recital. And I know she would have been beautiful. And I won't get to see it. Those kind of thoughts don't go away. They live with us forever. We have to figure out how to become new people in the world. And asking us when we're going to get back to normal is just insulting. So even if you want us to go back to our old, fun-loving, non-depressed selves, be extremely patient. And for the love of Pete, please do not put any timelines on people that you know who are grieving. We all grieve at our own pace, and losing a child, we are going to be grieving forever. We might not always be as sad as we are, but it'll always be there. And no one should expect it not to. All right, so that is my list of 5 things. If you're a grieving parent, I would love to hear in the comments, 1, if you've heard any of these things yourself. 2, if you have anything that you want to add to the list with crazy or insensitive things that people have said to you or things that you couldn't believe people said, we would love to add to the list, so you can go ahead and comment below. And if you're watching this as someone who wants to support a grieving person, can I first say kudos to you and thank you. Whoever it is that you're trying to support is so lucky to have you. You are a great friend or family member, and I appreciate you trying to learn how to be a better support. So that is it for this time. My next video is going to be a little more positive. I'm going to be talking about the best, most awesome things that you could say to someone who has lost a child. So stay tuned for that one. I will post a link when that one is posted on YouTube. And until then, enjoy my other videos, and I will catch you next time.